So I wanted to just go through a role play real quick and show you guys the authoritative selling style in action. And not only like me doing it, but also Diemena, because I feel as if Diemena is like fully ramped now on my offer, at least. Like she is selling like crazy. Like I don't know if you guys just heard her say, she's like, I got this guy and this guy and this guy. She's definitely heating up. I need to put more calls on her calendar. So I want you guys to see this in action on just essentially how she's going to go through the process from A to Z, because she's got it down to the T now. And I want you guys to see not only me just preaching it at you, but like how she does it, how she rocks and rolls with it. And yeah. How do you want to start it off, D Money? Do you just want to kick it off, or do you need any context, any notes from the setters, or what?
No, should we just go straight from the beginning?
Yeah, let's just say from the beginning. I'll just for the sake of time, I'll be pretty open on discovery to some degree. And then when we're pitching, we can kind of like skip through the pitch.
Yeah, let's skip the pitch.
And then we can just go right into like, okay, skip pitch. Okay, is that everything you're looking for on a scale from 1 to 10? We can kind of just go into that. And I think that would cut down like 15 minutes of the role play, which would be good.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
You nervous doing this in a live environment?
No.
All right, cool. You shouldn't be. I'm ready when you are.
Hey, Blake, can you hear and see me okay?
Yeah. How you doing, Diemena?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Just got about an hour here to get rocking and rolling. So
yeah, good for time too. Awesome. I know you're speaking earlier with Tim. He didn't give you too much trouble, did he?
No, he didn't. Cool guy. Great guy.
Yeah.
You guys have a great team I've seen kind of so far.
Yeah. Love it. I am always curious. I mean, best place to start. What was your motivation for booking in for today's call? Like, how can I help you?
Well, to be honest, I'm still kind of like trying to figure out if this is everything I really need. Like I got some context from Tim. Tim, that's how you say his name, right? Yeah, he was great. I was letting him know that I kind of invested in, another sales coaching program kind of before this, and I'm still in that program. So I'm kind of trying to finish it up, but I'm just like kind of exploring other options because it's not necessarily like been the best so far. So
no, why do you say that?
Why not what?
You said it hasn't really been the best so far. I guess why do you say that?
I just feel like I don't know, like I don't really think that I'm progressing that much so to say on that program. So I'm just that's kind of the reason why I'm here. Like I like Blake. I've seen some of his stuff. And I'm really just looking to kind of get like on a better offer and just like kind of get off of my one that I'm on right now. And I know that he's kind of got the connects to do so. So that's kind of the rundown of why I'm here.
Okay. So primarily just looking to, would you say just get on a better offer? Or
yeah, kind of, like I'm already kind of like I've been in sales for a while, I've closed and stuff like that. So I don't really think that it's necessarily a skill set thing. I'm always kind of open to growth. I know I'm not the best I could be, but I think where I'm currently at with my offer, I'm kind of just like really tapped out of.
How do you mean tapped out?
In terms of just like, hold on real quick. I'm turning my phone off because I'm getting so many people calling me. It's just like, in terms of just like the opportunity, right? Like I just feel like there's not that many opportunities a day that I'm really taking. And it's just like the price point of the offer is really just kind of shitty, in my opinion.
If you don't mind me asking, what is the price point?
It's a 3K ticket price for a trading mentorship group.
Okay. So okay. Now, I mean, I'm curious, I guess, what exactly did you see or hear from Blake that made you want to look into this further in the first place? Like what kind of resonated that caught your eye that had you even open for booking in today?
I like how D-type he is. Like I've seen some of his content, but more than anything, like I really just kind of feel like I could get on a better offer. That's kind of the main reason why I'm here. Cause like I don't really have like the connects to get on a better offer. So
yeah. And people don't come to us to get on worse offers. I am curious though, when it comes to like your current high ticket sales career, what is the main thing you're really looking to like achieve specifically, besides just extra zeros in the bank account?
I'd really just say like, I mean, a big portion of it is making more money. I'll be honest with you. What would I really want to achieve? That's a good question. I mean, honestly, like, I guess just like really, that's the thing. I feel like if I get on a better offer and I make more money, I'll enjoy it a little bit more. I feel like I'm not really as enjoying it as much anymore because I kind of like resent some of the calls that I'm showing up to. So
that's huge.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I wouldn't say it's what I'm hoping to achieve as of right now. I think it's more so just like what am I hoping to kind of get over right now? Because like I'm just like kind of showing up and like I just don't have like the same enjoyment that I've had. And I've been doing this for about a year now. And I kind of feel like I'm burning out. I'm spinning my wheels a little bit. And that's kind of why I feel like maybe a new opportunity for me is like exactly what I need to kind of like reset me and get me like back in the game.
And you mentioned burning out. Did you notice that recently, or how long has that actually been the case?
I'd probably say like, I mean, I've been feeling it for a while, but like, I'd say like within the last month, because they've been talking about changing shit and doing this and like nothing's really kind of changed. So I'd say like, I really started exploring this a little bit more. And I saw your ad, obviously, like I mentioned, I'm in a different sales mentorship group as well. So I get training. That's why like when I saw the ad and it was kind of more targeted on like, hey, I can help you with the support, but also like the offer. That's really what kind of stood out to me the most with this is like just the offer.
Makes sense. And with that as well, yes, we can get you on a better offer, but we don't also do one-offs. It just ends up being a huge mess for everyone since we, stand behind every placement we do. But with all honesty, I mean, the people we work with, we tend to work with like the average reps who are making like 10 to 20 grand and just help them get to that like next level, like consistent 20, 30 grand commission months. But it's more so, it's not going to be like sales one-on-one. It's like reactivations at the end of every month, bringing in an extra 3 to 4 grand on top of your, already built commissions. Now, I'm curious for you specifically, what are you noticing or like seeing that makes you feel like the offer is really like that main bottleneck that's keeping you,
Yeah, I would say like just appointment volume has been super volatile. Like it's kind of up and down.
Yeah.
And that would really be like the biggest thing. And then obviously like, sell less things for more money, make more money. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like that's what I'm kind of hoping to find an offer. And also like it's more on like the brand and things like that. Like the guy doesn't really have like crazy organic. So
Mhm.
every lead that I'm talking to, like they're very biz op. They're very like they don't really have any money. And they're also like very unaware of the person that they're buying or the company, just because it is kind of
Okay.
like a
Well,
new.
two things I'm curious about as far as the volume, like what are you doing right now in place to like stack up volume on your own? Like, are you even like outbound dialing at this point? Are you
So guys, I want to pause right here. Up until this point of the call, this is like a prime example of showing you, like, actually, let me ask you in a minute, what type of prospect am I right now? Like, what am I doing?
externalizing?
I'm externalizing. That's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, it's the offer, it's this, I think it's that, I think it's this, I don't need training, I don't need this. I'm like, I'm very like out of the pocket. And that's like a live example of what I want to show you guys, because a lot of people that do the sales coaching videos that you see are like very scripted. And like, this is like a raw reality of like the people that you'll talk to more times than not. And this is when I tell you guys about being a top performer, thinking and finding out ways like, if you're noticing a pattern of this is probably a messaging thing or an ICP thing, or how can we get some framing videos ahead of this person before the call? Because like I'm pretty out of the pocket right now. I'm coming on the call with the mindset of like it's just the offer that I need here. And she's getting me in the pocket now because I've been externalizing so long. She just asked the first like real probing question of like, well, what are you necessarily doing to fix it? And a lot of times when you hit somebody with that very direct, authoritative tonality and like the way that she said it, they kind of freeze. Or they'll say something like this. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I don't really do a bunch of dials, but I kind of
Okay.
just work the pipeline of what I currently have right now, and I just work it to death. But most of the times, like after the first initial call, like people don't even come back because it's usually just financial.
Uh-huh. And when you say like working the pipeline, like how exactly are you doing that?
Like, what do you mean?
Just like because you mentioned you're like working the pipeline to death, like
Uh-huh.
what exactly are you doing there?
Like I'm like calling a lot of the follow ups with people, but like they just like I mentioned, like after the first call, they just don't ever like really come back. Like
Yeah, do you
the,
notice the follow-ups that come back? I mean, I'm curious, like what's preventing them from moving forward on the spot for you? What are you noticing there?
a lot of times it's like financial or logistical. Like a lot of times they'll say like, I need to think about it, and then like, because we'll drop the price and we'll talk about it, and they'll be like, oh, but like deep down, like every time I talk to them, like they're just not really in like the best financial spot to begin with. So like I
And
know a lot of times they're just blowing smoke.
is it like they don't have all the money up front or they're like not open to like financing? Because that's like a different situation, right? Like, are they even like getting approved for like, are you allowing it to break up in different ways? Or is it just like if they don't have it all up front, they can't move forward? Because there's a difference between someone like not having all the amount and like that being a logistical or them not wanting to get resourceful, right? Like, are you
Yeah.
noticing like tension when you get to like breaking it up for them or making it more digestible?
Um, I don't. That's a good question. I don't really know. I guess so to say. So
Okay.
like yeah, well like I'll drop the price and usually they'll just be like I need to think about it. I'm like, well, what do you need to think about? And then we kind of go through it.
That's
But
your
like,
approach right now? Just
what's
like
up?
that's your approach right now, just like attacking it head on.
Yeah, more so
Okay.
than not.
Yeah. Where'd you learn that from? Or I guess like what caused you to use that approach?
And that's just like what I've been doing like the whole time. I learned from the coaching program that I'm in right now.
Okay.
So
And you mentioned
I
a
mean,
lot.
it works. It's not like it doesn't work. It's just like I mean, like more times than not, like we're talking and the person's just like it's just like broke.
Yeah, I'm sure. And you mentioned sometimes these calls they come unframed. Like, what do you have in place to send them like pre-call resources so that they come on the call with like more just like trust overall? Like, do you have a process in place for that to like get them like pre-confirmed, but also like turning the cold leads into warm? Like, what are you doing right now to kind of fix that?
Usually isn't it like I feel like that's kind of like what the setters will do because we have setters on the team.
Uh-huh. So you're not doing anything on your own.
I mean, other than like taking the call, I mean, like I'll send them like confirmation, just confirming the calls in like the morning. But usually the setters will kind of do that.
Okay. And I mean, if you don't mind me asking, like, do you have visibility on your numbers right now? Like, do you have like a tracker like from like last month?
Yeah.
Okay, like let's take a look at that actually.
Okay.
So like for the how many appointments were booked, let's just say in March?
March, I was taking three. I would have 4 calls booked on my calendar a day
Or how much for the entire month were booked?
for 26, 22 days in a month. I'm just flying high here. 96,
96. Of those, how many showed?
55%. So about
55. So one out of every two calls are showing. Why do you
pretty
think
much.
that is?
Just because like they're kind of just like unframed. I don't know if it's like a setter thing or I don't know if it's like, I don't really know to be honest.
And do you see by not knowing, do you see how that could be also causing the problem to be there in the first place?
Yeah, I guess to some degree, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the ones that did show, right?
Okay.
Out of the, you said, what was it? 55.
55% of 98.
Yeah. So out of the 53 that did show, how many actually converted?
Um, 11.
11. And I mean, right now we're sitting at like a 20% close rate. Is that pretty accurate or am I like,
Yeah.
no? Well, what are you noticing or not noticing that is causing majority, like 80% of the prospects to not move forward? Like,
Usually just financing. Like they
like
just don't have the finances. Like there are some objections, like they don't trust, things like that. But
the ones that are qualified though, the ones that do have the money, like why aren't they moving forward?
I mean, if they have the money more times than not, they do move forward.
Mm-hmm. And you're telling me 80% of the people you speak to don't have the money?
See, guys, pause right here. That was a total smokescreen, and she didn't bite into it. That's another thing. Like that was a lie. Like I'm still externalizing. I'm trying to show you. I'm still externalizing. Like this is what people don't show you. I'm still not in the pocket yet. She is probing the absolute shit out of me, and I'm like slowly starting to like realize like fuck, I don't like this is a me thing. But this is an example of like a lead who's egotistical, maybe D type, and this is what a lot of people struggle with in closing. They struggle with these D type prospects who are just like they externalize and they point fingers and they're very like D type. And she's like pretty much almost getting there. So what was your question? Do you remember? What you
So
asked me?
you're telling me 80% of the people you speak to are unqualified?
I wouldn't say 80% are unqualified.
Like if
Like
you had to
there are
go-
definitely some deals that I could probably get across the line, but I'm just like not.
yeah, like if you're being totally transparent with yourself, like of those, how many are actually qualified?
Are the ones that show?
Mhm.
Probably
Well,
say like half.
half. Okay. So that's, I mean, still 40% of, deals. And you mentioned you're at a 3K price point.
Yeah.
So I mean, even if you're closing like what, 40% more for around 300 in commissions, like where would that even put you? Let's do the math.
Consultative guys, you see this? This is a consultative selling style. It doesn't matter if it's B2C or B2B. We do this like she's showing me the opportunity cost right now.
Like even like closing, let's say we're in a perfect world closing 40% on like a $3,000 ticket, which you mentioned at first, the ticket price was the issue, right? But I mean, doing the numbers there, that would have been 11 grand in comms, right? Remind me again, what were you at for the month of March
Four?
in just cash collected?
Oh, 40,000?
Or so around 4K, would you say?
Yeah, I have 4K in comms.
Has that been pretty consistent or like has there been like ups and downs?
I'd say last month was more of a lower month because we've been showing like I've done like 7K in a month before.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd hope so now. So would you say like 4K that was in March? What about in February and January? What are those numbers?
It was a little bit better. It was like 5,500 and 6,300.
Okay. And earlier you mentioned, you don't need training, right? You just need a better offer. But with all transparency, like also 80% of the people you speak to aren't moving forward. Now, for you to be hitting like even just by bumping that close rate up to 40%, that's going to put you well over that 5-figure range in cash collected. So like, I guess if you opened your mind to it, like, I'm curious, first of all, are there any other closers on that offer as well with you?
Yeah, there's
Like,
two other ones.
okay. What are they hitting in cash collected? What are their numbers?
One of them does less than me. Another one, he's been there longer than I have. He usually does like around he makes around like 7 to 12K a month usually.
Okay. So if someone else is able to produce those results on your offer and you're not, is it really the offer that's the issue or is it maybe something that's
Dagger to the heart right there. That's where I'm cornered, like dagger. So resume. No, I mean that's the thing. It's just the volatility, right? Like you know how round robin goes. How many closes on your offer?
I mean 3.
Okay, so like that's the thing. It's like 1 month. It really just
What
depends.
did the round robin it to?
I mean, I don't know. I don't really have that thing. I'm just saying like there are some months where me and him, or I'll do a little bit more than him. There are some months where he'll do more than me.
And is it safe to say also they'll probably round robin to the one who's putting in the top numbers as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, is it safe to say also if you want to be top of priority, you probably have to also like increase what?
Skill set.
Uh-huh. Okay. And like going overall, like with your skill set, I mean, I am curious, like what is the main reason you're possibly looking for some more advanced support now rather than just doubling down on what you have been using?
In the beginning, it's like I wasn't really coming here originally for like more advanced support. I was like kind of originally coming here for better offer, or like an offer that had a higher price point to kind of begin with. And then I guess I had thought that by getting that, then I could probably develop the skill set better on offer.
Yeah, 100%.
I guess walking on this call, I kind of had the realization. Yeah.
And as more information is presented, obviously that's going to change circumstances. Now, let's say you didn't change anything, that mentorship that got you from like point A to B where you're closing 20%, do you feel like it's going to require that same mentorship to get you to start closing 40%? Do you feel like you're going to have to start bringing in more people, more talent, and just overall develop your skill set a little bit more?
I guess the latter.
Like the person who teaches you how to ride a bike, like can they be the same person who teaches you how to drive a car?
Yeah, right. I mean, I guess they can if they've driven a car.
Well, yeah, but like, do you want to like looking at just like the basis and the facts here, right? Because right now the people you've worked with in the past, they've got you up into a point where now you're only closing 20%. Remind me again, how long have you been working with them again?
I've been working with them for about 7 months. I've been in a program for 7 months.
Oh wow. So like
it was
almost
a year. It was a year program. I bought it when I first originally kind of got in the game a little bit.
Yeah. So almost a year now of working with them. And I mean, you're still sitting at around 20% as well. Now, I mean, help me understand, like, why not just double down on them?
I mean, I kind of thought about, I wasn't really planning on switching from them,
Uh-huh. Do you feel like if you continue to stay with them that you're going to get like those crazy results you want? Or do you feel like you're still going to stay in like pretty much similar places?
I guess that's a good question. I guess I don't really know. It's like the uncertainty, right? It's like I don't actually know because like I feel as if like if I was on a better offer, a little bit more social proof, I probably would be able to get more people across the line, which then by default I would hit those bigger numbers.
Yeah, and I'm sure can already like come to the agreement that like it's not necessarily the offer itself, right? Like there's people on your team who are producing those numbers too. Now, I'm curious for you, like as far as that uncertainty goes, right? Like how would you ever really know if you never put yourself in a position to actually find out?
I wouldn't.
Yeah, you wouldn't. And like my question to you is like your current skill set, the current performance, is that a place you want to continue operating in?
No,
Why not?
because up to this point, it's just been unstable.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And do you feel like you'd have to start making decisions differently to get yourself to different outcomes?
To some degree.
Mm-hmm. Well, with that as well, like what are you even like hoping to achieve at this moment? Like what is success even going to look like for you? Because obviously like we can talk about getting you on a better offer, maybe bumping up that close rate, but like genuinely like what is this all for?
I would say that I'm just like, I know that I can be the producer. Like I've done leadership roles in my life in the past. Like I played sports when I was younger, leadership there. Like I feel like to some degree, it's like when I see all these other people online that make all this money in high ticket sales and stuff like that, I watch their stuff and I'm like, it's really not that good.
Mm-hmm.
And like I know deep down, I mean, some of it's like really good, but I know deep down that like I definitely should be, and not maybe not should, but I can hit those numbers. So I kind of feel like it's just that like competitive nature to me on wanting to just like make more money, but by default, making more money is incongruency with the skill that you possess.
Uh-huh. 100%.
So
I mean, seeing other people in this industry who you mentioned you don't think are as talented, like, but seeing them hit those like 20, 30K months, how's that been for you? Like knowing you're pretty much
I
working.
mean, yeah, obviously I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And what's shifted now that has you actually like wanting to push past that stagnancy and start looking for like alternative ways so that you can get to your goals faster?
Just yeah, like I just don't want to go. I'm just tired of only making like 4K a month, or like then it'll be 5 or 6. Like I'm tired of like the volatility in the income, like
Mhm.
because I don't feel like I can. I don't necessarily feel like I can do the things I want to do or plan for the things that I want to do, and it's not stable.
How so?
Like if I wanted to like get a nicer car or do something like that, like I can't do that when one month I'm on the month where I make 8, that's a lot easier, or 7, that's a lot easier. But then you go down to 4, then it's like okay, like with lifestyle and bills and everything like that, like I don't really like I can't really risk at that point. So it's just like it's just annoying.
100%. And can you see how that like old way of thinking, that externalizing in the bit where it's the offer, it's the leads, or it's this and this? Can you see how that way of thinking has now put you in a position today where you're still closing at 20%, you're not maxing out your potential and you're still in the same spot? Can you see how that like externalization can have a correlation to being like where you're at right now, making only 4 grand a month?
Yeah,
And
I
looking
can
back on the past like couple months or just overall being in this industry, what do you feel like that externalization has actually costed you?
probably remain where we'll probably be stuck. Yeah.
Yeah. And how much longer do you want to stay like
I mean, I
stagnant?
don't, obviously I don't. That's why I'm on the call.
Uh-huh. And like being on the call is like great. Like that's the first step, right? Like I respect you for that. Is it more important what happens before the call or what happens after? That's actually going to produce the results you want.
After,
Uh-huh. So like if we look at this together, right? What are the chances of you getting to your goals if you continue holding on to that externalization and blaming everything but yourself and your skill set?
probably not moving too much farther than where I'm currently at.
So is that way of thinking worth holding on to?
No,
Why
I
not?
would say no. All right, so pause real quick. The first reframe. We are 25 minutes into the role play. This is what no other coaching program shows you. Everybody else is like, oh, they get on and this, and it's so easy. No, the majority of my calls, if you go watch them in the library and even Clay, some of the old call recordings that we have in there, I do like a 20-minute discovery more times than not because you need it, especially when you're selling on cold traffic. All these people that show you these calls where they close deals, they're only closing like warm layup deals more times than not. They're closing people who are pre-framed. I just wanted you guys to see how it took 25 minutes to turn me from a cold lead to now a warm lead. Because now you got to even look at it from the standpoint of where I sit now. I came in with a bunch of ego. You guys saw that in the beginning. Now I pretty much just finally buckled. Like finally. Like I finally just gave her the frame of the call 30 minutes in. And I'll tell you from where I'm sitting right now, that's why I started answering shortly. No, yes, makes sense. Because I knew, I felt it. And as a D-type prospect, I felt that I fucking lost the frame of the call. And that's what I mean. Like they'll give it to you if you earn it. But you can't skip past all that what we just did right here. Because I see everybody that just skips past it. They're just like, you'll get your yeses and they'll get your this and they'll just keep moving along the sales call. No. Like until you win the authoritative positioning right there. She just won. Now it's like, she's the owner, I'm the dog. Like I have to listen to the owner. Sit down, sit down. Like that's where the call's at. Now she owns the frame of it. I'm looking up to her as she was the person that kind of put me in my place. And that's how you sell to D-type prospects. And if you're afraid to do that, they're just going to walk you on every single call. And with the marketplace becoming more D-type because of the trust and the barrier and all these limiting beliefs and people externalizing, it's a scam, it's this, it's that, it's this. They're going to throw you in every different direction. You have to hold your frame in discovery. And so she did. And so right now, Diemena, this is the part of the call where I probably would, you've got me. This is probably where I would start to do the urgency checkpoint, and then I would roll more into like the pitch. This is how it naturally flows. So you can take it from here, but we keep rolling.
Well, even I want to add on, like, you guys shouldn't be focused on being liked by prospects. Like, I don't care what Blake thinks of me at this moment because I'm here to like get him out of his own way. Like, if I sound like like just like mean or like if I'm coming off as like with an attitude, like it's for his benefit. And that's how like every call should be. Now I would have just thrown in like, we can start off like, well, why do you feel like now really is the time to let go of that? Because the reality is you could keep holding on to this externalization or bit of ego for the next 6 months or another half year. Like, why do you feel like now is the time to let go of that?
Because like I said, like I got big goals for the rest of the year. We're already like in the second quarter of the year. And like, I want to finish out the year strong with more money in my bank account. Like, I'm just like, I'm not really, I'm just tired of like, I'm just tired of like, honestly, just like I mentioned, like the volatility of income. That's really what it comes down to more than anything. It's like, I can't, I'm big on like data and numbers. And like I mentioned, like I have experience in other fields in the past where I was very successful, and stepping into something like this, like it's just kind of frustrating because yes, it is new. And like, I'm not really like, I'm good at sales and have a past in sales. It's just like, it's a little bit different online.
Mhm.
And before I had a lot better grip on my income. And now it's just like, it's up, it's down, it's this, it's that. And then, you get on social media and you see like,
Mhm.
fucking this guy's making all this money, or this kid made 20 grand. You're just like, how the fuck does this kid make like $20,000? You know what I mean? So I guess the answer to your question is just like, I guess I'm just really ready to like step into that for myself.
Mm, okay. And do you feel like the performers who are making 20, 30 grand, do you feel like they got there just by investing in themselves once, or they continuously poured every time, energy, dollar back into themselves to like make that their baseline?
Tie down right here. Yeah, the second one.
Yeah. Because like sales is like a sport, when you say.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
And if
100%.
there's like two people, one's playing like basketball in his driveway, and the other one's like meeting with a personal trainer, working with a nutritional, like working with multiple coaches, who has a higher likelihood of getting like a team to like the Olympics.
Obviously, the second one.
Yeah. And like obviously like we can help you get on like a top 1% offer in this regard, but there's also still going to be a lot that you're going to have to keep putting in, because you're going to be held to a new standard. Now, let's say we are able to help you, right? And we hold you accountable to the standard that you're going to need to be operating in. Like, what would success even look like for you? Like if we were to fast forward a couple months from now.
I would just say if I can make the ceiling the floor, that would be ideal.
And how do you mean by that?
Like if I can make 7K the new bad month, that would be ideal.
Okay. And besides just extra zeros in the bank account, I mean, like what actually changes then that makes that goal so desirable for you?
Because then I kind of get the stability and knowing like I can get some of the stuff in my life. I can get the car that I want. I can get the things I want. I don't really have to like worry about like, oh, in a month where I make 4 grand,
Mhm.
like I'm not really going to be able to, like, I have the budget accordingly on that on a month like that.
Yeah. And getting that stability, I mean, what would that even mean for you
In what way?
in general? Like on
Can
a,
you can you define what you mean? Like what would it mean for me?
yeah, like on a personal level, like getting that stability of not having to worry about those things.
I mean, I'd feel less stressed,
Yeah. And if feeling less stressed is how you'd feel when you'd get there, how do you feel now?
more stressed.
More stressed? Okay. And with how you're doing things right now, like let's say you suppose weren't to take changes, and suppose you did let externalization get in the way or held on to that ego, like what are the chances of you getting to those, desired, like what kind of happens if you don't do anything and you don't take any next steps in terms of your career? Where would that leave you?
Exactly where I'm at.
And is that something, someplace you're willing to settle for?
No,
Why not? Because some people would.
because I don't want to remain where I'm at. Like
Okay.
I just
So
right
do
now.
you feel like it is time to draw a line in the sand so you can get to these goals sooner than later?
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, you don't have to. Like, you'd be surprised. Some people are willing to settle at like 7K. Now, I'm curious for you, like, as far as like your timeline goes with everything, like, suppose everything did make sense, checked off your boxes, was everything and more that you were looking for and made sense numbers wise to you. Is this like a down the line kind of thing or like a yesterday kind of thing?
Um, like I mentioned, I'm kind of still in that other coaching program, so I don't want
Mhm.
to say it's like a down the line kind of thing, but I guess it would just have to kind of, it would just kind of have to, I just kind of have to see like what it looked like
Yeah,
numbers wise, if it made sense.
of course. Yeah. And I'm not talking like, I'm talking money out of the equation. Like, in terms of like, let's say the process actually checks off with what you're looking for, right? We can get you on a better offer, just develop that skill set. Like, how soon are you looking to actually implement towards the solution?
Let me
If
show you guys something real quick, just for everybody in here watching. By the way, for all the people watching, like we are right here. She's trying to label me in transition with the identity bias of the person that I said that I wanted to be. And the only thing up until this point, Diemena, that I can just say like live feedback is, as you can tell, like I am kind of like being a little bit more short with my answers. Like instead of doing the reframe of like, what would that mean for you a little bit more? I would use a little bit more like facial expressions and maybe like more skeptical tonality, just a little bit more, because like I'm starting to, especially from like one salesperson to another, like I'm seeing what you're doing in live time, which I love, but also we've looped a couple times. So I would kind of be a little bit more like blunt here, where it's just like, I mean, do you kind of, I mean, like kind of like this schedule thing. I mean, do you kind of think like doing a little bit more of what you've currently been doing is going to work, or do you think that you kind of need to make the change and actually change it? Like saying it like that. And he's like, well, yeah, I mean, obviously. It's like, I mean, dude, like you said, you're like, I mean, you'd be surprised who doesn't make the changes. Like, I would just say, like, I mean, you'd be surprised. I get to the end of these calls and like, there are people who say that they're the type of person that wants to change. And then those are the same people that tell me they need to think about it and they need time and they need this and they need that. And me and you both know that that's just bullshit, right? Ha ha ha. Yeah. I would pre-frame the objections that he's going to give me right here. And I would try and label him and identify him as the person that won't use those later in the call. So whenever I do drop price and I do tie him down, he's that's the big part about the labeling with the identity bias, is like he's now told you where he's at and where he wants to be. And so what I'm doing here is it's crazy because no one really like kind of teaches it like this. It's the way the process works is authority, build up ammo, basically get your tie downs here, show them everything they want, get your tie downs here again, then you drop price. So there's two parts in the call where you're basically getting your tie downs for price drop, and they're these two parts right here. They're the exact same thing. The only difference is this is where you're labeling them with it, and this is where you're doing objection prevention. That's the only difference. Is they've seen the pitch, and so you're asking them on a scale from 1 to 10, like what's missing, where's the gap, etc. Versus right here, you're telling them like, you are this person. Do you have the urgency to do this? Like you're getting them to admit to themselves that they are the person that is deserving of the pitch. Versus after the pitch, you're getting them to admit that they're the person that is going to move forward. That's the only difference between the label and that. So let's keep running.
Yeah.
Yeah, my timeline's right now because I know we got 15 minutes left, so I want to be
If
conscious.
I was to like label you, I'd be like, yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised how many like people we speak to, and they're all for making a change, committing to their goals, and then it gets to then it's the same thing. I need to think about it. They're being exactly like their prospects. I mean, you don't really take me as that kind of guy. I can see how serious you are.
It's kind of like, it's kind of like the fat person that says they want to lose weight, but then whenever I throw the meal planning in front of them, they decide that they want to continue to eat donuts. It's like, we can only do as far, and we can only get you as far as you want to go. I'd much rather like set the expectation here. We can only get you as far as you want to go. Are you the type of person that's going to be able to hold yourself accountable? Because transparently, I'll be honest with you, Diemena, up until this point of the call, you've externalized a lot. And I think you've been able to realize that. And the reason why I say that is because the people who come in this program externalizing things are usually the ones that aren't successful. So I'm trying to label this person with the identity that they don't want to be. Like, I want to be like, the people who fail here are you. That's not really what I'm saying to them. The people that fail here have the characteristics that you have. The people that win here are the people that don't do that. So who are you? And I'm trying to get them to own that identity right now.
I guess like my question is like, who do you want to start operating from? Like the externalizing version who's got you up into this point, or the one who takes ownership and actually gets to these goals?
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly how I'd say it. And then it would be the latter.
Yep.
So yes.
Okay. And then from
Emergency checkpoint. Yeah, I got it. Okay, cool. So we'll skip through the pitch, and I'll start with just ask me like any questions for me on that.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much the entire A to Z process. Like any questions, death threats, concerns, like where's your head at with everything we went on?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it looks like everything I pretty much kind of feel like I need.
Why do you say that?
Like I think it's different than what I'm in right now in terms of like there's more coaching calls. It seems like there's more support. And like I like how the course module is really laid out like a roadmap. It's not like, go watch this course, watch that course. I like how Blake kind of has like the theory of constraints, and it can show me like as I'm navigating through this. I just feel like there's a little bit more of like a roadmap with the course here versus it just being like courses, if that makes any sense. And so I like that because the program that I'm currently in, it's just kind of like, hey, like here's this, here's that, here's this. It's like 4 courses, and then there's like barely any coaching calls. So, and the community is kind of like dead. I like to also see how like active the community is here. So, and then yeah, I mean that's pretty much the trinity of it, I guess I'd say.
Yeah, makes sense. And just to make sure like we are on the same page, like scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being like, I need to get off this call immediately, and 10 is like, this is everything I need to reach all of my goals. Like, where would you even put yourself on that scale based on what we have covered today?
All right, I'm gonna hit you with this. I'm gonna see if you're gonna do it. I mean, I would probably say like an 8.
An 8, really? Why an 8?
I don't know the price yet.
Uh-huh. Okay. So I mean, price aside.
Yes. Guys, every time you get to this point in the call, say that. I was hoping you were going to say that.
Price aside, I'm talking about the program specifically.
Price aside, because that's always what they're going to say right here. They're always going to say, or they're going to give you some bullshit of like, oh, it's price. They're uncertain about the price more times than not. So you want to identify, hey, like totally understand price is a big decision, but price aside, like if this was $1, like where are you actually rating? And the reason why I say that is because I'm not going to, we don't need to go through options and everything that we have here for you if it just doesn't even align with what you're looking for. So price aside, on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being like, Blake, I hate your face. I hate that you had flow hair and now you kind of cut it down and you got your beard. You've just not been very, 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 very good this entire call. 10 being like, if the price is right, this is everything I'm looking for. Where would you put yourself? That's how I always say, if the price is right, where would you put yourself ahead of time? Because they'll still say it, and then I'll say price aside. Yeah, I mean, price aside, I'd probably say like this is like a 9.
Really? What would make it a 10?
Probably knowing the price, like, or just like I think it's just the fact that I've invested in one of these things before, and like I'm not saying that it was bad, but it's just like the thought of investing in something again right now, like another coaching program, I'd say is kind of the only thing.
Yeah. Have you been in relationships before?
I do. I'm dating a girl right now, actually.
Okay. Has there, before you found her, has there been relationships that didn't work out?
You're using my reframe here. Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd probably say more.
That didn't work out. Would that stop you from finding, the one that is good for you?
No, because I mean, I'm with her now.
Yeah. So are you like willing to push past those past experiences that maybe didn't work up to your standards to find something that truly can work for you?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you feel like what we covered today, like with everything, the entire A to Z, like that can truly get you to your goals? Because that's the most important part.
Absolutely.
Okay. And with like the pricing side of things too, as well, like would you say the price of coaching or the program will determine the value, or is it going to be the results it helps you create?
The second.
And why is that?
Because if you told me that I had to pay. So one thing that I use here, guys, another thing is like I like to use this. I heard this one time. It's super simple. It's like the Ferrari and the boss keys, where I'm like, I totally understand pricing is a big factor, but let me ask you this. If I opened up a box, right? I opened up this little thing right here, and inside there were some Ferrari keys. And I told you that this box right here was $50,000. What would you do? And they're like, they kind of sit there for a second, and sometimes they don't answer, and I answer for them. And I'll be like, you probably find a way to get the money, huh? Because Ferrari's like $400,000, $500,000, or you can say like a McLaren or whatever they like, right? But if I open this box right here and you see Toyota keys, what would you do? And he's like, dude, I hate Toyota. I drive Ford, whatever. But it's like the point I'm trying to get him. The point I'm trying to get him to see is it's like the price is not the thing. It's the value that's associated with the price. It's the logo that they're buying. It's the perceived value. And so by default, what I try to tell him is I'm like, whenever you feel like the pain of like, wow, that's 50,000, but the payoff is going to be 400,000. When the pain exceeds the worth, you'll find a way to get resourceful. Versus like if the pain exceeds what it's worth, you're just gonna be like, yeah, I'm not gonna waste my time with it. That's how I use it. The minute like that's what I would say there because it's just like using a little bit more visualization. Yeah, like I value analogies, especially in the I value analogies in the temp check a lot because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get them to take themselves because you have to understand where I'm sitting right now. All I'm thinking about is price.
Gotta get into results.
I need to get them out of their own head for a second and show them something so simple that's just like that they would just totally understand that makes them realize like, oh yeah, like without saying, well, is it this or is it that? And having them say the latter, I'd say, well, what would you do? And I let them come to their own realization of like, ah, I see that now.
Yeah. Like, let's say I did that analogy. I was like, behind this iPad, there's like a pair of keys. I ran that through with you. Cause like, and then I would tie it back into like your goals. Cause what we're talking about here isn't just like learning how to make an extra 100 or 200 every month. It's developing the skill set that's going to allow you to go from making 4K a month to consistent 10K a month, which is well over $120,000 a year.
Yeah.
Like, can you really put a price tag on that?
Yeah. It's also like, I love the fat analogy where it's like, you know, let's say like Ryan's in here and I was talking to Ryan on a call. I would say something like, you know, like what's more valuable to you, brother? You tell me because everybody's different, right? You invest $10,000 in a coaching program. The coaching program comes with the best nutrition plans. Everything that you like to eat, we put it together in a custom plan. I have the chef cook everything for you. So you don't have to cook. We do the dishes. We clean up for you. We put them in the fridge. We put a little bow on it for you. And all you got to do is just take your little pretty ass to the fridge, open it up, warm the food up, eat it. And then on top of that, we have a trainer for you that's going to train you. You're going to get in shape. This is going to take probably about, it usually takes about 6 months. We can get it done in 2. That's 10,000. Or I can ship you over a pill that comes in the mail. It'll be there in 5 to 7 days. You take it and tomorrow you're in shape. What's the value? It's the same program. And they go, well, the second one. And I say, why? Because the value equation, just like Hormozi talks about, is perceived likelihood of achievement to your desired result minus the effort and sacrifice needed. So when you're tying back here, Diemena, and you're like, can you really put a price tag on it? It's like, even if I told you that this program was $20,000, but it can ensure that you made $120,000 in comparison to you making $48,000, what's the payoff? And on top of that, now you have the skill set that nobody can take away from you. So it's only up from there. And that ceiling that you're at is now your floor. So is there really actually a price tag on it? Like, even if I told you the program was 30,000, but then it can help you make 30 grand a month, would you be willing to make that trade? If I told you for sure that this program can help you make $30,000 a month, which I can because of income claims, tie them back, right? I'm not trying to sell them the dream. Would you actually invest 30,000 if I told you next month I can make you 30,000 guaranteed? Would you do it? And they go, yeah. And why? Because it's a sure thing. And then I do expectation setting right here. It's a sure thing. But the difference is this isn't a sure thing. This falls back on you, right? And so that's where the price might be associated. And Diemena, what I'm getting at is I'm trying to find and probe and see what the real objection is. Because I'm leaning more on like, is it going to be fear? Is it going to be trust? The urgency's here. You feel it. Logistical is logistical, but I'm trying to get ahead of trust and fear here. I'm trying to get him to realize that like, yeah, well, what is the opportunity cost of you actually not doing it? I'm like kind of doing like the lame ass like opportunity cost analogy. Like I hate that analogy. I'd much rather like show them the cost of inaction is losing them money. Because we're selling in this situation, you're selling to someone more in market. If you're selling to some like B2C person that has like no brain, yeah, you could probably do that. But like when you're selling to somebody who wants speed and money, you're selling the opportunity cost of not making it. Like, yeah, bro, I mean, 4 times 12 is what? 48. Okay. What's 10 times 12? 120. Does it matter? If you're doubling your goals, does it matter? If I gave you a silver bullet and I said, all you got to do is just trust me and you will 100% make it, would you do it? And he says, yes. And it's like, well, that's not the case here. Because the case is it falls back on you, your development. This is the problem with what we sell, Diemena, just heads up. Like, we don't sell it done for you. Sales coaching cannot be done for you. That's the only problem with our product is it falls back on the individual. And so by default, I want to label them here again and really tie them down to that because what I'm trying to do is obliterate fear. I'm trying to obliterate the fear objection because I know that I have the urgency. I'm trying to obliterate fear. The trust is there. Like, if he's saying he knows me, the trust is there. You don't have to assume it. You can more so assume that it's there. So really what I'm doing is I'm probing my close for logistical only. So when I drop the price, I'm just getting into a objection handling battle over price. That's really what I'm trying to do here. You guys all see that? You guys can unmute for a second. You guys all, does that all kind of like make sense?
Yeah, this last point for me is a really good one, actually, that they have to take ownership. Because I see a lot of people get afraid and kind of back out, and it's not really the logistics. And what you said that it's, yeah, they just don't know it's going to work because it falls back on them. So just putting that framing on them is super important now.
Yes, and so the whole premise of what I'm getting at, I know, because like we could have a whole masterclass on objection handling price, but what I'm trying to show you guys is we haven't even talked price yet. This is all done before the price because it's like, I'm telling you, if you do it in this pattern of everything that I've shown you guys today, literally it should just be logistical. And if not, you have so much ammo to tie back on them now because you got to look at sales like offense and defense. Diemena is still on offense. We're 55 minutes into the call and she is still on offense because the second she drops the price, now she's on defense. And so it's like, why are we not cramming the ball down their throat the whole call? Take ownership, this, that, tie downs, urgency, everything now versus skip past all this, drop price. And then it's like, well, do you feel like that version would then change yourself? You lose them. Like you want to do all of this before that. So when they do drop the price and they're like, I need to think about it. I can immediately jump and be like, is it that uncertainty piece of you feeling like you're going to fail? Because they already gave it to me. Like I'd much rather get it before I drop the price because I can just label them right there. Dude, didn't we just go through that right there just a minute ago? And you just owned it. So let me look at what you're doing. You're stepping back into what's comfortable. And once again, to tie it all back to the urgency checkpoint, what you said, Diemena, you were the person that told me earlier that that's the thing that's limiting you from growth. So do you see how you're just stepping back into what's comfortable? And the reason why this works so well is because you are framing their identity. And you're not trying to close them. You're just holding them accountable. You told me you're the person to do this. Do you remember saying that? Oh, you do? Well, now do you see how you're stepping back into comfortability and how that's not led you to the point where you want to be? Yes? Then give me your credit card. like that's the way you close this shit. Like, it's not that hard. It's really easy to close. Like, closing is simple when you do it this way.
No one ever wants to go against something they said.
That's why it's called label and transition with identity bias. You are getting them to identify without doing the whole, well, what would the 2.0 version of yourself say to that? That does not work when you're selling to sophisticated prospects. They don't want to hear that. They want to hear the opportunity cost of staying the same and how much it's costing them in terms of their growth, their revenue, whatever it is. When you sell B2B, you're not selling the software. You're selling the opportunity cost of how much money that they're losing in their company. That's what you're selling. You're not selling the 2.0 version of themselves. That doesn't work. And so, like, the market has become more aware to these things because they see it every day. Guys, like, we see all these reframes and all these sales coaches with their friends on the other side of the camera doing these reframes. Like, everybody's very aware to, well, would that next 2.0 version of yourself do that? It just immediately installs skepticism in them. Like, oh, that was a really salesy thing to say. So don't say that. Like, just be a human, be authoritative, and just consult them the whole way through, and then just tie them back. And then I would give you my all in, and then you would drop price. And then from there, like, honestly, the close would just be logistical. And for the sake of time, because I do have a meeting coming up, like, I can't get into all that, but I wanted just to show you guys, like, the process in action. And Diemena, you see how receptive she is of coachability? Like, she's even coming on here. She's on a heater right now. She's closing left and right. And even when I give her little pointers here, she's still susceptible to feedback. That's the reason why she's winning. That's the reason why Solomon wins. That's the reason why, Ryan, you're in here. I'm excited for you to win because, like, we attract a different type of avatar here. We do not attract the person who is, I'm not coachable. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I've reached my potential. And that was the person that I started the call as. And now at the end of the call, I've realized that, like, I've been reframed. It's not the offer. It's me. It's all of that. It's all of it. And she changed that belief in me. And so when if I don't close here and I give her a million objections and I get off the call, do you see how much more leverage she has in the follow-up process now? Where, like, when I would jump off a call like this, I would literally get off and I'd kind of be like disgusted with the person. I would jump off the call and I'd shoot him a text and I'd be like, hey man, like, me to you, like, friend to friend, I'd send a voice, hey man, friend to friend, all sales stuff aside, if you let these limiting beliefs continue in your life, you're never going to achieve what you want to achieve in life. Regardless if you come back and buy, doesn't even matter to me right now. I just say this friend to friend, like, you really need to work on that. Like, as a person, because you're never going to reach the heights of anything if you can't. And, like, I say that in follow-up where people are like, why would you ever say that? It's like, bro, because the probability of them coming back and buying after the call is so low. I just disconnect immediately and watch them chase, like, just like a toxic relationship. You put that seed out there, they hunt you down. And I know this because Diemena does it and I've seen it. A lot of her calls have been follow-up closes recently. And these people are, like, hunting her down to give her the credit card. They have. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, it's actually, like, I'm not going to lie. Diemena is better at follow-up than I am. I'll say that again. Diemena is better than follow-up than I am. Like, I would just burn the lead on the call and I would just payment plan everybody. Like, Diemena holds frame and gets payments. And, like, dude, like I mentioned, like, I never had a sales coach. And, like, my goal is to make everybody in here better than I ever was. So if I can just get you this framework and you guys can just follow this, like, you see how, dude, Diemena, did you even have a script?
No.
There's no script.
I was just vibing.
That's why, like, I have a setting script, but I have a closing process. Like, there's no real closing script. It's a framework. It's those pillars that we follow. It's not a script. If you sound scripted in the closing process, it's just not going to work for you. You're never going to be that, like, free-flowing closer who can just say shit on the fly like I do. Like, you got to find your own swag. You have to, but you get that by following the process. So that's really all I wanted to go through. You guys say, what are your thoughts on everything?
Super cool call today, guys. Really, it was fun. And also I have like 6-7 points that are really useful takeaways.
6, 7. Wow. I'm like 26 years old. That's so lame. That's like so lame. I can't believe I just did that live.